they've already put themselves in a position where it's a Darkseer against the Oracle. So how do you sort of remedy that? Is it just an Iron Talon off to the jungle with Darkseer, or do you try and go like an aggro lane against the Oracle?
Either or.
Okay.
Alliance pretty terrible in aggro duel or aggro try, so I would probably just say Iron Talon jungle.
Okay.
For Darkseer to start, you can at least like preoccupy them. It depends on what the safe laner is. If it's a good kill lane, then yeah, you better be a little bit scared. Like Slark or Gyro, I think is like really good at killing him.
Yeah, and you mentioned the Slark. We saw that in the last game. Obviously, aggressive. Just played a pretty tremendous game. Worth noting that he didn't see a whole lot of that Beastmaster at the start. And I think that that's an answer that we've occasionally seen teams do when it's a hero like a Medusa or a Morphling that's not going to be able to take down the tower early and not going to be able to provide a lot quickly, is just head off to the jungle. But do you think that if you have a hero like a Slark that comes online early, you need to at least contest a little bit in the lane?
They just lost two of their lanes way too badly.
Okay.
And then the first roar from the Beastmaster had to save or tried to save in the mid laner. So I don't know. It's more like like if you're going to be farming and your lanes are going to go to crap for 7-8 minutes, you need to have a big impact with your first roar. But it didn't have that touch.
Well, they're going to opt to ban out both the Mirana and the Kunkka on the side of DC, so feeling like that roaming position 4 that he played last time is not something they want to go up against as well. While LGD, they sort of show I guess I would call this a confidence play. You ban out the Meepo knowing that, or at least feeling like the only way that DC are going to be able to beat you is if they cheese you a little bit with that Weeha Meepo. Is there anything you're really scared about here for LGD Gaming, given the context of this draft? I mean, we talked about Oracle being good against Darkseer, but
Push strat.
Okay, push strat.
But I actually can't really push too much over here. I think Invoker is really good for DC. They should be looking at those sort of heroes.
Yeah, okay. I wouldn't mind that. That does seem good. I guess the Darkseer, you can also throw an Ion Shell on somebody, maybe for a safe laner, if you wanted to run something like that. And
I want to see Gyro from them. Like Gyro plus DS and good kill potential on Faceless Void. I think that'd be decent.
Okay.
I don't know.
They've also got that, like, that was something that we did see, is LGD, like, grouped up as 4 and went into the mid lane, and I guess that's kind of the thing that Gyrocopter counters, is that early rotation if he's able to get a quick level 6.
Yeah, you need a lot of team fight if you're up against LGD, because LGD almost always draft a ton of team fight. Like Xiao Wei plays like a AoE stunner very consistently, or Beastmaster or something like that. So just make sure you have enough team fight. It sounds like a blanket statement, but it's not really against LGD, because I don't think their late game play is as strong. And even if they have heroes that scale a little bit better, they might not be able to beat LGD.
Yeah. I'm kind of also wondering, we saw that Digital Chaos were comfortable taking it into the late game a little bit with that Naga Siren, and feeling like they're going to be able to out-execute them late game. Maybe we see a similar type of thing, but just a little bit more of that team fight elements that you were talking about. But they're getting really low on their reserve time. Only 18 seconds left to see what it is that they want to take third. Like, I don't know. That can't fill you with a ton of confidence. Oh my god.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go. We're doing it. Why Pudge?
Why not?
Okay.
Good first Faceless Void. It used to be a counter before Vengeful Spirit was a thing.
Okay. All right, pretty good. We saw Wings run it earlier in this tournament, and it was really, really good against the Kunkka, where they were able to consistently pull them out. So I guess it's a similar type of strategy. You just hook out your buddy, whoever it is that's in the Chronosphere.
Oh, they took Invoker.
Uh-oh.
Life's hard.
Maybe Invoker is pretty good. Although there is still the ability to kind of go for something a little bit more along the line, like, because you want to be able to set up your big spells inside the Chronosphere. So do LGD have to go back now for like a different initiating hero to supplement the Void, or do they just try and plan on killing off the Pudge before the Chronosphere comes down, or catching him in it?
Like Pudge isn't a hard counter Faceless Void because you need positioning, and you also need heroes not to be in your way. Like you have to stand outside of it, like pretty far away, and like things just get clumped up in team fights with, especially if you have a lot of melee heroes. So you want to make sure not to draft that many melee heroes. If your face is void, what you can do is like stand on the opposite side of the hero, like stand in its trajectory. It's not like a hard counter, but it's just a decent counter. There's very few ways to deal with heroes inside of Chronosphere. Vengeful Spirit Swap, probably the easiest one, as well as the most popular one because it is the easiest. We have seen like Astral OD. What other heroes are there?
Shadow Demon.
Yeah, Shadow Demon. There's very few like that, but Faces Pudge is one of the other ones, but it's much harder to pull off. So,
Well, as I'm looking at this lineup too, I mean, you've got the Darkseer there and the DP now, so a lot of control and then silences coming out. You've got the big amount of backup damage. What is it that DC need as the last piece of their draft there to finish this off? Or do you still need to be concerned about the lanes? Because that was the big problem last time. How do the lanes shake out now for DC?
Death Prophet, one of the best mid laners in the game at the moment. So that is already pretty good. They do have to deal with the Earth Spirit a little bit, but even with the Death Prophet, still should be like kind of okay, I would say, for Death Prophet. So that lane, check mark for Digital Chaos. You don't have to have a support sit there. Let's see, what about the other lanes? Darkseer is going to have a very difficult time, so probably just relegate Darkseer to the jungle and then kind of put like maybe a slight loss for that because jungling isn't really that great because the LGD supports can do a lot. And their safe lane, they have a Lion, and they're versus a Faceless Voice, so that should also be pretty decent, I think, for Digital Chaos. I think all their lanes are actually pretty good right now.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll see how they end up trying to play it. The other thing that I hadn't really thought about a ton now is you've got Rot Ion Shell.
Yeah, Rot Ion Shell is really strong, but it's the Oracle can still purge it off, as well as Invoker with the Quaswex. So it could be a Quaswex Invoker if they really feel like the Surge and the Ion Shell might be a problem. Also, Cold Snap wrecks Pudge really badly.
You know, I'm a little surprised that they picked it third here.
Yeah, they want to go out with a bang, I guess, or or throw off their opponents.
Yeah, boom or bust. I guess that's the idea here, and it's certainly caught off us off guard. I love it. This is awesome. They take the Slark out of the pool as well. Still slightly reeling from that last one, and the Weaver is going to be taken out by LGD. One last hero. LGD's draft certainly more meta, certainly more like, build around that Faceless Void Chronosphere. They got the Earth Spirit there to try and roll in and make stuff happen with that added control. And now just one last pick. Is there any thought that you maybe go back now for like a different offlaner and run Faceless Void safe lane?
Yeah, sure. If you really want to. I don't really think they need to though.
Okay.
I think that aggressive is better suited to other heroes.
Okay. Well, they are going to be taking that Juggernaut in the safe lane. Not something that we always end up seeing, but it feels strong. They can maybe try and push down that tower early if the Darkseer does decide to leave for a little bit. How do you feel about him as we're getting ready for this last pick to come in? Do you still go straight Iron Talon now, or do you try and mess around a little bit in the off lane?
I do not think you mess around in off lane. I think that's a pretty tough lane.
All right. Well, there we go. Last pick, Spectre. We got a whole heck of a lot of craziness coming out from Digital Chaos. LGD, a little bit more of a normal draft, something that we would expect. Who are you favoring going into this one? Is it just live or die by the Pudge hooks?
I haven't seen their Pudge yet, so I can't make a comment. It really depends on, like, some Pudges are just amazing and ungodly at hooking, and some are just, why did you pick that hero? So we need to see which one it is.
I mean, it hopefully is going to be pretty easy to hit them if they're caught in the Chronosphere, but I would imagine that you also need to hit them at other point. Yeah.
You need to do stuff like kind of match the Earth Spirit's movement in the early game and threaten the lanes. So it's not as simple.
Okay. Well, that's good stuff there. I'm excited to see this game and how it all plays out.
I'm always excited for a Pudge, man. Let's get this on the road.
I mean, it's about as easy as far as commentating is concerned as a Spirit Breaker. You watch the Pudge. Where's the hook? All right, they made it. Good. You can yell now.
Please. Now there's going to be an Earth Spirit rolling and just like blink Faces Void and everything that just makes your life miserable after you said that.
I know. It really is just the 3-2-2 I'm doing right now. But excited. The early Sentry Ward placed down by Mr. Pudge himself. That is going to give him a little bit of vision onto this cliff to maybe try and make something happen. Is it worth trying to roll into, or rather go into the mid lane? Like, I feel like hooking Invoker could be good here.
Of course.
Yeah. I mean, I guess what I'm saying with that is, like, is it kill lane with the DP there?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's not cost Wex. He already has Exort, so yeah. It's more than possible. Okay, it's a Misery Pudge. Yeah.
He was playing a really fabulous couple of games yesterday against Empire. Like, there was a Broodmother on top of him consistently when he was playing Lion, and he was capable of escaping over and over again points where it would have gone wrong. Xiaowei, meanwhile, is going to move in and see if he can take away this rune. Might be able to do it. The Rod is going to be out, but DP takes it.
He almost died there. Saksa almost hexed him. He was like, he raised his little wand, or whatever you want to call it. That was close.
That would have been scary. He places down one of the sentries, thinking he was going to be able to find a ward, but unfortunately, it's off here to the side. There is another one placed from the side of DC over in lanes. They're going to have good vision of the Faceless Void, Mr. Xiaowei. Is there kill potential here for them with Misery and Saksa on the...
Yeah, with the Lion, there is on the Faceless Void. And if you hook him after Time Walk, definitely.
Okay. We'll see if they can actually find that. I'm having a little bit of lagging issue. I'm going to try one reconnect. Would you care to give us a little bit of radio Dota if anything happens that's a little bit crazy while I'm reconnecting here?
Yeah, just checking out the lanes right now. Misery did get an easy D ward and some easy gold in the process. We see Sep on the Earth Spirit trying to contest the jungling coming up from Moo, but Moo's already safely on his side, and all the lanes are kind of going pretty similar to last game, I would say, except that DC have a slightly better match as Moo's off doing his own thing in the jungle. Xiaowei is kind of alone on the top lane. Supports of DC are staying pretty static.
Yeah, and I can see Misery getting the pull off too. Going to try and control that lane equilibrium and mess around a little bit with this Faceless Void, see if they can bring him slightly low. Considering that you said the Moo is not going to be in that lane there, is there kill potential as we see a roll in onto Weeha? Maybe going to be able to make something happen here. How worried do you have to be as a Death Prophet?
Not that worried.
Okay.
As long as you have Spirit Siphon up, which he currently does not, so maybe he should be a little bit worried.
Oh, and a little bit, I guess the other thing to think about with this, Misery was the one that was drafting, obviously, and decided to pick himself Pudge. So a lot of pressure on this guy to perform with getting those good hooks.
Dude, I like wings. Now they inspire other people to pick Pudge.
How could you not? They're an awesome team. It's so great to be able to see them. And the thing about it that was so cool was that it was
that
like,
win?
Well, yeah, exactly. That's the big thing. I mean, I picked Pudge too, but I end up winning. They end up winning. But yeah. Meanwhile, the start here, 13-6 on that Juggernaut versus the 9-3. Kind of an interesting start to this, as they're going to roll in, and oh, that was a neat little move there. Did you see that in the mid lane? They tried to get Fortune Zen on September to hit as well onto the DP.
Yep. You'll see that sometimes in the Oracle plus AM versus Darkseer matchup. You'll like channel up a Fortune Zen on the AM, and then he'll like blink in. It's pretty cool. It's not easy to pull off though because of travel time and channeling time and stuff.
All that fun stuff. It's worth noting we did have Moo move back to this lane as Oracle was gone for a little while, but the second foray into the lane might end up giving him a little bit of trouble, and you can see that immediately MMY takes off the Ion Shell, and he's going to have to head back.
They have scanned too. They scanned Sep, so that was kind of cool. You don't see that very often. A scan to see the hero mid. I like that.
Nice. That's good stuff. And yeah, you could see the immediate rotation as we saw it, and they end up bringing him back. That's really cool. That's one of the things that I was thinking might end up happening later when Scan got introduced, is you see Xiaowei get pushed out.
He won't have it to detect smoke ganks onto the mid lane, but LGD have... they might not like rotate in the manner, or maybe he's not scared of it. Maybe just scared during this particular moment.
Xiaowei is going to be in a little bit of trouble. They didn't have Rod on that whole time. It looked like there was a little bit of a miscommunication. Misery threw the hook and Saksa backed out at the same time, so they didn't end up being able to find that one. Still burning through the regen, doing a fine job of it.
Faceless Void thrives off miscoordinated supports. It's like your dream as a Faceless Void, or any offlaner really, as supports that like slightly mess up their spells, but Faceless Void in particular, because you just backtrack it all off instead of dying. That's a big difference.
It really is. It causes some issues. Misery still looking around. They haven't been able to punish this Xiao 8 Faceless Void all that much. That being said, he's still significantly behind where this Darkseer is in terms of his farm rates and everything else. So not the worst in the world. And it does allow... I mean, I guess... So what's the trade-off then? Just Weeha having a little bit of a worse time mid against the Invoker?
Yeah. And Oracle getting a lot of levels.
Okay.
But I don't know. The DC supports are also doing pretty decently in terms of levels, despite Xiao 8 being up there. They haven't been able to use that the big camp though. The Sentry Ward's been there for the entire duration, and they've only killed it once with his Hellbear. So that's something that's going pretty well for Xiao 8. Although it probably would have been better if he had Iron Talon at this point. But it's just an offlane preference. How occupied do you want to keep the supports? And some teams will almost always send people to the offlane. Some will almost always prefer to Iron Talon, and then some just matchup dependent.
And I kind of like this that we're seeing also. It's towards the mid lane because, you know, you can leave the Faceless Void to some extent to his own devices. We have Misery back here ready to keep Weeha out of trouble, which we didn't see last time. They obviously aren't going to be able to kill Faceless Void because of that, but it still means that Misery is going to be able to, you know, sit here 2 points and hook and feel somewhat... Weeha can feel more safe than he did last game.
Yeah, it's a different twist to the defensive hero.
Yeah.
On the
Mr. Pudge. It's not something you always think about. Kind of cool. Well,
but he's higher, super high offensive. That's why I like him too.
And as I'm looking at it, they are going to end up going in the Omni Slash down, and unfortunately, Weeha thought he was going to be a little bit safe with that. That's going to end up being the case. The Haste Rune is now going to run down Misery. He's in a lot of trouble. Is he going to be able to deny himself here? Aggressive is definitely going. There's the Surge away, and it's going to be fine. All right, that was close.
Okay, well, so much for Death Prophet defensive, or like not needing a defensive hero. Pudge, that was just like a really ill turn of events because he was like super behind and getting back to mid because Aggressive had a Haste Rune. If it were flopped, there would have been not really that much of a contest because he wouldn't have been able to keep up after the Omni Slash, especially if he got a hook off.
Oh, Soxka trying to juke and jive, goes back the other direction, September, and Xiao 8 seeing if they can find him, but he's just going to keep on heading out. Deforestation with the Quelling Blade, and space created. September's had enough of it. He's just going to roll in onto that Lion now, and still looks for the stun, ends up hitting onto both of them. This is some space created right here. It's good stuff. You'll love to see it. Trying to go for the deny. Can he actually get there? They don't have anything to take him out, and he is going to be able to get taken out. That was legit. Oh my god, so much time wasted.
That was amazing.
Oh my god. Did he buy out too? I think that he did.
I don't know where the Sunstrike was, though, from Invoker. He actually gone for a slightly different build, picking up the Wex a little bit early. Normally the build is 4-0-4, so you have the 2 Forge Spirits ASAP, and this way you can rotate into the jungle very quickly and free up the lane for your support, a theme that we commonly sing between the cores. But this way he has Chaos Meteor, so I guess they really want to kill Death Prophet, which is a very nice touch. Because you need a lot of damage to burst through that Spirit Siphon, and you'll actually usually see Death Prophets like turn around when they have Spirit Siphon, but the meteor might be too much smoke.
Well, gonna come in now. Xiao 8 in trouble, hexed up for the moment, and they are gonna be able to find him, possibly looking for the Earth Spike. He actually had already used it, and now Oracle is here as well. He's gonna get turned upon. Misery falls, and there's no way to actually turn this back around.
Sep, what a player with that stun.
Oh my god, that was good stuff. Xiao 8 almost went down there. They are going to jump forward a bit further. Rolling Boulder not going to connect, and that is going to be another one. MMY takes him down, trying to find the kill. Really good Fortune's Head. Oh, MMY really making this work for himself, but might end up paying for it nonetheless. Trying to run, slowed, and they are going to be able to get him out. Nice look as well for Misery comes out, so they get another one, and September is finally going to fall. And it looks like LGD just flew a little bit too close to the sun with that.
Yeah, a lot of sick plays from both teams right there. Nice hook. I don't know if he knew that he was there. But regardless, he's still got a very high priority kill. DC playing a lot better than last game. TPing in to help teammates, pushing down towers with their mid pusher.
Well, Xiao 8's still here. They do not have Chronosphere. And Misery does have a hook, so they need to be somewhat careful. Pump fakes it, throws it again. Nope, not going as of yet. They take the tower. It's pretty awesome. Alright, so Vanguard on this Spectre. Late game, who are you favoring with this one? Is it still just the Spectre, the be-all, end-all late game carry?
Not when they have an Invoker on the opposite team.
Okay.
Still pretty even, I would say. Depends on how farm Death Prophet is, I actually think is the biggest question. Invokers and Juggernauts and Spectres usually get their farm, but Death Prophet sometimes you'll see fall off really quickly.
They found a pretty easy one right there. They are going to end up throwing out the Haunt now in September. Also is going to be jumped upon. MMY trying to get out. They need to make room there. Misery not quite going to be able to hit the hook on the maybe. And you see that it's a 1-for-1 exchange as they did take out the Lion but lost the Earth Spirit.
Not bad. Very good first use of Haunt coming out from Spec.
And you can see that the plus side of this for LGD also is that it's made a lot of room for... Oh, Resolution? Trying to chase? Nah, I can't find anything. It's made a lot of room for the Juggernaut, and they've made a lot of room for Maybe to get his farm up. And he's going for that Blade Fury or Battle Fury build, and a lot of stacks in this jungle here. One of them was already taken down, I'm assuming, by that Blade Fury coming out from the Jug that was on the medium camp. But good stuff all around.
Good stuff indeed.
Well, as the game goes on, last time it was like that really good timing that we were seeing out of LGD where everything was just rolling. Do you try and fight around the Chronosphere with Zhao Wade, or what's the read on the way they want to take this game?
I think they need more Sunstrike picks. They also have to be wary to just not get chased down because they have a really good chase lineup on the side of Dire with the slow from the Spectre, the slow from the Death Prophet, the Rot slow, and then Surge to keep up with people so that you can slow them from DC. So they just have to make sure they don't get in that sort of chain feed situation. Also, they need to make sure that they protect the Oracle because Oracle can stop Dismember, like purge off the Lion, Hex, prevent people from getting bursted down with Finger. He is super key. That was not a well-coordinated Sunstrike attempt from them.
Nice. That would have been really good if they could have found a Bayats. I mean, Misery is still pretty tanky. He's already got 1,000 HP on him, and only level 6 at this point. I guess that's the other thing, is they could probably start going for a play, as they are going to...
Yep, yeah. If they want to go for a play, they have the Observer Ward. They do see Maybe. He's a very high priority kill, but if he gets like a cold snap on him really quickly and then uses a Force Spirit to block the hook path, he can escape. But all that will kind of be for naught if the Death Prophet can get the Spirit Siphon up. Oh, the counter smoke!
Alright, they also do have Haunt available right now, and they're going to end up going for it. Jump onto MMY. There's also going to be the Exorcism already used, and maybe going to get ran down himself. They do have that extra movement speed, so I think just a tier 2 tower here, probably.
I don't think you can get the T2 tower. They used Exorcism way too early. Oh, no. They kind of thought it was going to be a larger scale engagement because it was very weird that the Oracle and the Invoker split up, and I actually think that we used his ult very well there, despite them not getting an objective out of it, because you expect it to erupt into like a 3-on-3, 4-on-4 fight at that moment with Haunt used. But perhaps he could have waited for the Haunt to see exactly where the heroes were, but they really wanted the Invoker kill, and they didn't get it, so that's...
Oh, going in again. Fairy Fire on the ground. I thought that was a bigger item, but Resolution, they might be able to get it now. Sunstrike, they get it. So that's the kill you were talking about. Now September falls as well. So yeah, 2 gone.
Ward, a lot of value from that. Now the LGD know that knows that they have the ward, but the damage has already been done. They already lost what 3 heroes I think from that. Yeah, Oracle, Earth Spirit, and Invoker, and that top side's down. And they might get the D ward now, but yeah. And if they get the T1 off of this, that would be great.
Oh.
That was not the play.
It's like, Resolution, get away from that tower. We don't want you there anymore. Kind of an interesting little dynamic. Also, Resolution stole the Fairy Fire and then denied it. You always love to see that. As Aggressive is going to TP out. They can't make anything else happen there. But, man, that hook is pretty solid coming out from the from Misery. How would you rate him so far as play across the board? There was that one up in top that looked pretty, but do you liking it so far? The Pudge pick, is it working for him?
The mid died, kind of due to bad rune luck. I like the one on the Faceless Void, and the one on the Oracle was kind of gimme because they were smoked, so still TBD.
Okay.
There's nothing that's been like overwhelmingly awesome, but he's hit a couple of hooks, so can't talk him for that.
All right. I do like the resolution Ion Shell on the Spectre, too. This is the other nice little bit of damage that they're dealing, and it does feel like it's at least starting to coalesce into a strong combination as they're going to roll in onto resolution. Might be in some trouble. Omni Slash is there as well as the Sunstrike, and that's going to be a dead Spectre. So as soon as I start talking about him, he ends up dying. I'm sorry, Rezo.
Yeah, that's one of the worst deaths that you can give at the moment. I guess slightly worse would be Death Prophet with their ulti on, but that's still not good. They can get a return kill with the Haunt, and LGD have to be very careful about that. They do see a lot of heroes grouped up on the bottom. Their Observer Ward just got dewarded, so they have to know that there are a lot of heroes here.
Good
that
hook.
Overkill. Oh my goodness. Finger and Dismember.
Well,
but they might make the Haunt play pretty soon. They have Exorcism. LGD, they have to be very careful in this particular juncture.
It feels like if Misery hits one of those hooks at this stage, it's just so quickly going to turn back around. They are going to end up bringing Resolution into the mid lane to deal with the Invoker here. But again, with that Haunt being available, they are going to spot out Aggressive. Can they bring him down? There's the start off with the Hex. Aggressive taking a lot of damage, and it's going to end up maybe being a kill. Oh, good play coming in from MMY. Going to be able to keep him at bay for the moment, and they didn't hit the hook to break the TP. Oh, wait, that doesn't do that anyways. That's going to be kill. My goodness.
Wow. What? It breaks. What do you mean? It doesn't break spin TP?
Oh wait, no. I think that I'm getting it mixed up with friendly TPs. That's what it is.
Oh yeah.
I'm tripping.
That's cool that it does that.
Yeah. Aggressive is going to spin in towards them, and Chronosphere dropped, but it caught Aggressive, and Soxka's still alive for the moment. Hex trying to run away, and is going to get surged out of there. They're not going to be able to find him. Can they actually get away with everybody else, though? Moo might end up paying with his life, as there's the hook away, still alive for the moment. Misery ends up coming into the midst of that, and they end up being able to take off the Darkseer. Misery trying to get out, but there's just no way.
They're not really getting too much from the Haunts. That was a very nice sacrifice by the Oracle to save Juggernaut. Juggernaut was super slow with a spin there. Like, normally your finger's at the ready, because if you get hooked, you immediately spin out. That's why they waited for the Lion to come, so they could hex him while he was getting hooked, so they could get more damage onto him. But he, like, saw them, he, like, turned around, he right-clicked them once, and he still didn't get the spin off in the neutral. So it still surprisingly went pretty well for LGD.
It does look like now they're going to wrap around onto Aggressive. Didn't quite get the silence, and now just an Omni Slash getting tanked by everybody into the spin, and that's going to be a killed Lion with the Oracle. They don't hit the Sunstrike. Misery's still getting ran down. Oh man, that was not the way that needed to go.
That is not the way it needed to go. And Juggernaut is one of the better counters to Pudge because of the low cast point on spin. If you're very fast, which you should be if you realize yourself like flying across the map, then you just press your Blade Fury button and you, like, Pudge can't rot because it doesn't do anything to you, and you're just taking a ton of damage from Blade Fury while you're getting Dismember, which is exactly what happened in that particular top fight. So they really need a Hex on the Lion to follow up so that they can burst down the Juggernaut. But then again, if the Oracle's there, then he just spins anyways. So, like, it's just not easy to kill this Juggernaut at all, and you kind of need to kill him because his farm is out of control. Phase, Battle Fury, and Yasha in his inventory. Well, Yasha not quite, but soon to be.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is like they've just kind of been left alone to his own devices, and now they rotate to try and find the kills, and it's not happening. You look at the net worth difference between these two teams, above 5,000 and almost 10,000 experience lead into the favor of LGD. This is, I don't know, this is rough. I guess as you're looking to try and take this further into the later stages, do you just need to keep doing more of the same, but actually executing? Is there any real big fix for DC as far as the way they're taking these fights?
Not losing heroes unnecessarily. Like the mid push without the Spectre, and like even the hook that missed and hit the Spectre, like, so they didn't get a lot of damage on that mid tower. Like a lot of small things that are just not going particularly well for them.
Now, they have the mechanism on Moose. That's something that's going to maybe allow them to fight a little bit more often. You've got the Faceless Void now after the...
Oh, they smoke under a ward. This could be the fight that DC are looking for.
They're going to head towards Roshan. Soxka is still there.
Oh, yeah, they just picked up the Vlads. It's still pretty risky, I would say. They're actually all headed over there.
Okay, Haunt is up and available. This could be really big if they can actually make it happen, and they're going to end up going for a hook first. They pull out one. That's a pretty good one with Maybe. He's going to get jumped upon, but immediately False Promise Aggressive is there as well. They need to be a little bit careful. Chronosphere drops, hits on Asakusa right on the edge, as well as Weehaw. In a lot of trouble. Can he actually get out of there? Oh, Finger of Death comes out, and now the Omni Slash being tanked by everybody, but it's not nearly enough. Mechanism is already down, and they are going to be able to hook out Resolution. Oh my goodness. Misery keeping his buddy alive, but they did end up still losing the other 2 cores.
Oof, almost one more.
That was close. Well, Void went down in that fight.
Yeah, he got fingered.
So as far as the next little stage of this goes, they can't really take Roshan, I'm assuming. What's the play? Do you need to try and get Moo some more farm and get a Blink Dagger up online for him?
You need more farm on your Death Prophet. Death Prophet is the only core that's in danger of not scaling at this moment, and she died last fight, so DC, they still have to do a better job of protecting her. Darkseer is going to get his farm. He just Ion Shells out lane. It's not that big a deal.
Okay. I do...
Death Prophet's the one, and they'll have Radiance soon.
Yeah, that's the thing I was about to say there, is that I feel like Rezo getting that also with the Veil soon to be online for the DP, it feels like that's a nice timing to hit for Digital Chaos, and it's felt like, again, if they just manage to hit a couple of hooks here into a good position, it can find the pickoffs that they need. But those types of movements, it's always hard to do it. Like, the vision is there. They've got wards deep in the jungle. How do LGD respond now that they've sort of, their Roche plans have been foiled?
5-man. Don't clump up for Darkseer ultimate. Try and focus on the Death Prophet and control the line in the fights.
Okay. And up here towards the top lane, Saksa is continuing to push out these creep waves to the best of his ability. He almost has his Blink Dagger online as well. But that is going to be the Veil completed. Sanjanyasa for the Juggernaut. They definitely are keeping very close at hand to each other, making sure that they're not going to get picked off by that Pudge. And now the rotation in towards the jungle. Weehaw might be a little bit too far forward here, actually.
Nah, he has on his reward. He knows what's up.
What a guy. Well, I'm kind of wondering now, like, you've got this Eul Scepter to be defensive. Is the Veil enough to allow them to fight? Or do you kind of need to wait?
I think they can always fight. They have Darkseer plus Haunt plus Death Prophet. I guess maybe like the Blink Dagger online is kind of the missing piece at the moment. But if they win a team fight and get Roche, they're in a really good spot. Same with LGD, and both teams have the potential to do it. And DC may not have as much farm. Looks like there's 7,500 in the whole compared to LGD, but LGD, they have 2,000 gold in the Midas, 2 Midases, sorry, so that's 4,000 gold that isn't particularly useful come fight time. So 3,500 gold is a very manageable net worth to overcome in a team fight when their team fight potential is this close.
They did ping out that they're in the area. Now, that was the smoke breaking on MMY, and this could be a good wraparound if they're capable of finding it. Haunt is still available. They're looking, but I feel like LGD might realize that this is happening. Do they actually go for it? Pops Exorcism. There's the Haunt, and now looking for an escape. They catch MMY, actually, September, excuse me.
I am mega lagging.
On the bottom side, they've been able to control MMY. I'm still here for the moment, at least. Occasionally, we do end up running into those issues. So they kill off the 2 supports with Haunt and Exorcism used in the immediate run towards Roshan.
I lagged so hard at the start of the fight. I have no idea what happened. I saw Earth Spirit just die and then Oracle just disappear.
That's essentially what happened there. Oh, Saksa takes a Sunstrike there in the face. It looked like the Void was able to just time walk away. Okay, Exorcism is done. They throw out a hook to see if they could catch somebody. Misery fishing, but not going to find it. Aggressive looking for a chase now, but they slow him. And it looks like LGD are going to be the ones running into Roche Pit. They didn't use Chronosphere in that fight. Breaks the illusion. Invoker illusions are still heading in. Can they actually do that? Vacuum up to the high ground? Alright, good stuff. Xiaowei can get back down in a second, but Aggressive is stuck up here. And he TP's out. Are you back in the land of the not lagging now?
Yeah.
Alright, good stuff. I was a little bit worried about you.
I think it was just like at the start of team fight, maybe too many things going off or something.
Okay. Well, the Roshan is still falling here. And DC, I guess, with Exorcism and Haunt down, don't feel comfortable going for it.
That was really smart by LGD. They like bought a lot of time, maybe almost got hooked too, but he like turned around and cast his Force Spirit right as the hook came. And if he got hooked there, it would have just been easy Roche, unless they wanted to use his buyback. But they bought enough time for the teammates to come, and they used Haunt and Exorcism like at the very bottom of the fight, so wasn't available for that one.
Yeah.
That was like a very risky moment in the game for LGD, where they could have lost control of everything.
Just playing it right, playing it good, and putting themselves in a position to potentially win out in this series if DC aren't careful. I mean, is the Aegis enough that it's going to completely swing this further into the favor of LGD, or what's your thoughts there?
It's just their net worth is getting out of control. They're not doing enough with their teamfight ultimates at the moment, and they do have a Spectre who's pretty farmed, but it's doesn't look like it's going to be enough to compensate for this like double Midas plus Aegis advantage that LGD currently possesses.
And I guess you talked about earlier, one of the keys to this game was the DP and how much farm she was getting, and is building towards that Octarine, but it's a rough one. I guess she's still only, what is that? 5,000 net worth behind the Invoker. That's pretty rough.
Yeah, that's only.
I try and stay optimistic, man. I'm doing my best with this one. It's a rough game for DC.
It is.
Well, Force Staff is going to be online for Darkseer. Level 2 in his wall. There's still the way for them to get back into this, I feel. Like, a hook is just an instant kill, although Zhao Wei now has an Invis rune, is going to be walking up towards high ground. Oh, man. This could be... They have the Observer or the Sentry Ward down, though, so if he stepped too far forward, they were going to be able to catch him. Very tense moment for Digital Chaos as they can still go for a hook play here, and maybe, I mean, you can just see him respecting it. Those Forge Spirits always right by his side.
Yep. They're actually like seem like they've played against Pudge a lot with the way that they're playing.
And even the Juggernaut there doing the same type of stuff earlier. They do have a Blink Hex available. Oh, not quite there for Misery. And Tornado splits the uprights. They do end up being able to jump on top of them, and a quick pick. Buyback status non-existent, and you certainly don't want to use it anyways. They might just go for this.
Yeah, Invoker has BKB and a lot of money, and Scepter, and Aegis.
Jeez.
Now he's not really scared of getting bursted down, and can kind of roam around the fight freely. Like, in concept, it's kind of nice that they can hook people out of the Chronosphere, but that really hasn't seemed to have been an issue for LGD at this point. They're not playing... They're not like giving DC that opportunity. That's not how they're playing the team fight. It's like aggressive, going in really deep with his magic immunity and just straight up immunity, and kind of maybe walking up in their face with these 2 defensive items at the ready too. And they're always like generally in a buddy system. They're clumping together so that they don't take a lot of desolate damage.
And mid lane, they're going to be able to burst down this line in just a second. Nice hook out, so he's still alive for the moment, and things going a little bit better. Aggressive is going to jump on top of Misery, but end up being able to throw out the Exorcism now from Weehai. He ends up getting the mechanism, healing him a little bit more, and trying to turn this background into their favor. Resolution is going to end up just be forced away. They don't hit the hook either, so not going to be able to pull maybe back in towards this. A vacuum, the reinitiation from September, Magnetize, Abound. They throw out a pretty good Earth Spike, but not quite enough damage. Resolution has fallen so low, and he is going to die, but they are still turning this back around into their favor. A little bit. They bought back on the Invoke. This could be rough. Oh man, Sunstrike not hitting. Aegis still intact. Misery right click to death. He's trying to run into the Roche pit, but triple kill now. My goodness, maybe just all over it.
Yeah, the LGD are doing exactly what they need to do in teamfight. They're like making sure that their core stay alive. The Juggernaut and the Invoker like don't have. Like, Juggernaut has not died this game. Invoker only once, and like the Oracle fought back. Whatever, not a big deal. Earth Spirit, he knew he was going to die when he went in with the Magnetize, but things quickly getting out of hand.
Now and hitting now on the tier 3s and the barracks as well. They jump onto maybe a pretty good Earth Spike, and That's the Aegis down. Can they find anything else here? The Juggernaut is still in the area, as is the Oracle. They pop the BKB, gonna run right into the midst of all of them. Weehaw taking a ton of damage. The Omni Slash kills him off. That's a dieback, and honestly, he's just gonna be able to run through Moo as well. That is gonna be a Force Staff away. Resolution taking a good bit of damage, and Cold Snap, they are gonna get a pretty nice vacuum wall, but it's not enough, and Aggressive pulled out, but not gonna end up being able to be brought down. They are going to run away with Moo, but everybody's out for LGD. They killed off the Invoker. I'm not sure if that's good enough, though.
Are you getting lags?
Yes.
In team fights?
Yeah, okay. I am. I'm getting a good bit of it. It's a struggle, not gonna lie. Misery ends up getting the deny. But Sakska maybe gonna die. 17 HP. Oh, Aggressive, not gonna be able to find him. Alright, he escapes. He's gone. But still, LGD are just looking so dominant at this stage.
Yeah, very safe too. Like double BKB pickup on an Invoker and Juggernaut. Like a lot of times the tendency for these cores is to go for a Blink Dagger. It's like, oh, okay, I can just Blink Dagger in when I want to cast my spells. Blink Dagger Omni Slash, I'm good. And Blink Dagger away after I cast my Meteor Blast. But that's not possible versus a Spectre with Radiance, unless you have lightning fast fingers. But it's not the safe way. It's not the LGD way. It's, okay, if I'm in danger of being focused down in a fight, I'm going to get BKB, Ghost Scepters if necessary, and they're playing it very safe, just not incurring the really heavy casualties, the really important casualties in the team fight. And because of that, they'll continue to outpace their counterpart on the DC side. So this is kind of always been a defined trademark of LGD, though.
Yeah.
Which is why, like, I prefer DC in like a push early game strat. And the later it goes, LGD just builds very, very safe. And then this is like even before like False Promise comes out on the Oracle, before multiple Lincolns perhaps comes out, like we saw last game. Now we see a Diffusal coming on Faceless Void, dealing with the Surge on Darkseer, as well as potential Ghost Scepters from, let's say, Death Prophet to deal with the Omni Slash. You can purge off the Yules from the Death Prophet, and Death Prophet is going to die in these team fights. DC have to find a way to stop it. I don't know how, but they have to keep her alive for the entirety of the fight.
Oh, and maybe it all starts with a really good initiation from Misery. It's just so tough. I mean, you look, he doesn't even have his Aether Lens completed.
His team's not there.
I don't know. All right.
That's close.
Oh, all right. If they had that Aether Lens right there, that would have been a hit. But unfortunately, Misery's hook not quite long enough.
City. I think even though he's like 1-6 and 13, like, firstly, it takes like it takes a lot of spirit to pick Pudge in the third phase. Yeah. So that's already a couple of points for him. He hit some hooks, which is also kind of a couple of plus points for him. A couple of minus points because he's captaining. So it's really difficult to, I would say, like, captain and play Pudge, because you're looking for like small positional errors in the enemy, similar to how an offlaner does when they initiate with Shaker or Void or whatever. And like it's just hard to, if you need to be directing your team. I'm not sure if he's making the shot callers, but I would assume so, because he's captain and probably the one who's played the most experience on DC, to look for those small positional errors and hit the hook required.
Yeah, that's sort of the Aggressive going to end up going for the spin away. It's been a tough one regardless of that too, because I mean it does feel like the type of game that you're going to play with a Pudge also is somewhat reliant upon your opponents making those little mistakes that you're talking about. And LGD, not only just in their item choices, but also in their positioning, and every little thing that they've been doing, it's been to cover it. And so that sort of just eliminates one hero from the DC roster. So yeah, I agree. I don't think you can completely blame it on him for that. It's
yeah. I like, even though he like hasn't had the most impact this game, I would really not fault him for it. There's been like a couple other things that have been pretty glaring, like the early kind of laning phase flops from the support duo, that they weren't able to get an earlier kill on the Faceless Void, like a couple of these team fights, like that one fight on bottom 2 where they wanted to kill the Jug but instead got the Oracle. Like there's a lot of small things that are going on. They have to be able to control the Oracle and then burst down who they want to control with a Hex, but I'm like, that kind of comes from, like, I suppose, like we on the Death Prophet, like silencing the Oracle. But life's hard for Oracle when you have single target burst like Lion and Pudge.
Yeah, That's the other little bit of it. It kind of counters out everything that they're trying to do. The tornado is not going to hit there as maybe went for it, but the blink away.
Oh, that's what they need vacuum for. We haven't really talked too much about move this game. With a blink vacuum into impale into silence, that is like, that's the dream. But they haven't been able to get that, and that's something that can counter BKB. I put counter in quotes because if they see Darkseer blinking in and raising his arms, sometimes they pop his BKB off. It's not completely immune to that sort of initiation.
Weehaw down here in the top lane is maybe just going to end up going down. He's going to end up trying to TP back home, and meanwhile the jump forward, the Chronosphere solo for the Lion, and that's going to end up being a quick kill going his way. DP in the fountain is going to be fine for the moment. Vacuum back, wall as well. The Haunt's coming out, maybe going to be able to take him down here, although in the midst of all of this, Resolution is just not doing as that much damage, and oh, the BKB as well as the Omni, not enough.
What an Omni jump. That creep MVP.
Oh, they pull back September, trying to take him out. They're also going to be able to block the rolling boulder. The Sunstrike kill, though. Oh, Misery is just so not tough right here. Does not have enough life.
Wow, he lucked out so hard with that Omni bounce.
It just hit the one creep, right?
It did hit the one creep, and then he just got out of range to nuts. Or was it him being up the hill? Yeah, regardless, it didn't bounce to him.
Well, a little bit of luck going the way of DC, and they're certainly going to need the jump forward. All right, good reaction there by SUBCRIBE the Lion, as they are going to throw out a Fate's Edict, keeping Xiaowei alive for the moment. Aggressive, turns on to Resolution. The Guardian Greaves are going to keep him a little bit more healthy, maybe getting mana drained, but they haven't been able to find the kill. BKB top, turn around. Resolution force sapped away for the moment, and they now go back in with the extras, and Resolution is going to die. Does he have buyback right now? They do, but they really don't want to pop that if they can afford not to. Xiaowei jumped upon again. Another Fate's Edict, keeping this guy healthy. And now Aggressive just continuing to run at them. DC in a heck of a lot of trouble. They go for the Eul Scepter lift up and is just not going to be able to survive through it. SUBCRIBE the Lion trying to do anything at all possible. Buyback by the DP, but they're not buying back on the Spectre yet. There it is. I don't know if they can stop this, though.
We talked about LGD making small positional mistakes, but it's DC that are ones that are just constantly slightly out of position. The Resolution trying to push uphill into that, gets caught by the ice wall, maybe turns around with his BKB. Like, that's... I understand that they're like pretty desperate at this point because they know that they're heavily out farmed and they're 1 racks down, but they're just making a lot of mistakes in terms of positioning and choosing the way they start off fights. They need like hook into Hex so they can kill people and then control the Oracle as he's coming in to save him. He doesn't have a blink dagger. He has to walk up and cast his spells with Aether Lens, which is a pretty far range, but that's the only way they're going to be able to kill one of these super important cores before they pop their BKB.
And it just feels also like you've got the same types of counterplays from LGD as well. They've got Earth Spirit to throw out the kicks to break up that combinations that are coming out. Chronosphere, of course, just like the de facto one. And it feels like they're having to use all of these abilities from DC. They're the ones that sort of have to, oddly enough, make the move because LGD can slow siege them down as well.
It's also because the discrepancy in the net worth of the cores is really different. Because Juggernaut can just run in with a BKB and just destroy DC. So can Invoker. He can kill anyone if they're slightly out of position, but DC, like Spectre, can't just haunt in and tank right now. If he had the net worth of the Juggernaut with a heart and a butterfly, he could do that. Or if Death Prophet had, oh my goodness, she's so low on net worth. If she had 14,000 more gold, she could, like if she has Shivas plus Octarine plus BKB, she could also do the same thing. But they just don't have the farm compensate at this point.
Oh, and Resolution, cold snap for the moment. Good force staff keeping him alive, so some small semblance of something good going their way, but at the same time, it's just, I don't know, how do you even take a fight against these guys? I feel like Juggernaut could just run in 1v5 almost, and it wouldn't even matter.
Yep. Well, first you need to make sure they don't have vision in your base. That's like step 1 to high ground defense. Is always de-ward the Observer Ward in your base, which they have not done yet. Like, I think they had a gem earlier, but they lost it. We just saw them try and place a D-ward and immediately smoke, and as soon as that happens, LGD backs up the pit. Man, they just, no risk. Aside from the moment where they contested Roche earlier. I like that play. That was like the most risky and still very calculated play that I've seen from them in this game. That was pretty game-winning. That was like the only point in time where I thought that DC would take a huge lead over LGD.
No, and Aggressive here, sort of the gatekeeper. They possibly can make something happen here. Misery, can they find him? There is the Hex as well as the Impale coming out, and Aggressive pops the BKB. They just turn back around. Chronosphere only hits on a Misery, and September is actually caught in it as well. Soxa throws out the Finger of Death. They buy back immediately on the Pudge. Buybacks all across the board. Maybe standing tall in the midst of all of them, and Aggressive is going to fall. Sunstrike not quite hitting. Resolution able to walk away from that one, so pieces are going back into the favor of DC a little bit. Zhao Wait controlled and killed off. Now September just trying to escape. He does have another rolling boulder, but they can probably block his way, and they are going to be able to do that. Good play by Moose. Suddenly, 4 heroes dead from LGD, and that was a couple buybacks expended as well.
Yep, they use a scan to find the positioning of the supports. Aggressive was the gatekeeper, but they actually had all the spells they needed to. They got the Hex off on the Juggernaut, and then the False Promise came off, and then Juggernaut's BKB came out, and then everyone got chronoed on his own team.
Okay, well, Resolution suddenly 4,600 gold. Okay, also the Invoker, maybe. He pops his BKB. There's the counter initiation with the Tornado, EMP combo. Everything dropped, and they do end up killing off, oh, the Death Prophet. And now he's also going to take Roshan, jumps in. Moo, he doesn't end up being able to get it. They hook him back out. Maybe Invoker just on a tear. He is going to end up falling to this one, I believe, but I think that he can get away afterwards. Oh, he used Ghost Walk. All right, he might be dead. There's the Earth Spike coming through, and they do have the control for him. The False Promise keeping him alive for the moment. The Ice Wall also dropped now. Misery in a lot of trouble. He might just end up going down.
Oh,
another Deafening Blast!
God.
Maybe is too big. Resolution drops. Oh, wow. And now they end up being able to take down that Darkseer as well. Holy hell.
Holy cow. Maybe best Invoker in China, hands down. Oh my god, that was disgusting.
All right. Well, it was essentially almost a 1v4. He's going for more. Oh, Sock's gonna run away. They blink over to the side there, so is not gonna be able to catch it. He went down. They might find him here. It doesn't look like it. This guy, Mr. Invoker.
Oh my god, that was incredible.
They throw out another Earth Spike, and the Vacuum Wall combination. Soxa getting right-click down. Can they kill off this Invoker? It doesn't look like it as of yet, and on the other side, Aggressive is just going to keep on hitting. Good game gets called. It felt for a moment.
Someone has to make a highlight of that. That was godly by Invoker. What on earth? He just, like, 1v... He was 1v3 in the pit. He knocked it, and then just solos Roche while they're just standing by dumbfounded up the hill, like, oh wait, why do we retreat? And then he just grabs Aegis when the Spectre is right there, and then he just turns around and kills them all with a little bit of help from the Oracle. Oh my god. DC thought they had a chance.
Maybe Invoker. You got to be careful with him. 12, 2, and 15 don't even tell the whole story. I mean, granted, he already had a huge lead in terms of net worth, but still, the ability to turn that back around when everybody else on his team was dead.
That was super impressive.
Well, good stuff. Odd shot, please. We'll see some more maybe Invoker a little bit later.
What on earth was that? He just made them look silly.
Well, still more great Dota 2 is going to be coming up there very soon. Merlini, thank you so much for joining as well. Any final thoughts on this series or the next couple ones we got? It's going to be Vici Gaming Reborn and CDEC Youth, and then LGD plays against the winner of that.
I'm excited to see them all, man.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Absolute pleasure casting for you guys. More from Nanyang in just a little while. We'll see you then.